Estoy orgullosa del programa y le agradezco mucho a Juan Carlos y a Miguel de todo lo que están haciendo por ellos, porque es un gran esfuerzo y es mucho trabajo lo que tienen que hacer empujando a los niños, porque como dicen ellos están llevando adelante a esos niños que saben que van mal en la escuela y los están empujando a que se gradúen, salgan a high school y puedan ser alguien en adelante y triunfen en el futuro y sean unos buenos estudiantes y tengan una buena carrera, que es lo que más quiere uno aquí en este país, que uno viene aquí a luchar y a triunfar.
Okay.
So they're not here.
Just me and you?
Just me and you.
Okay.
And we're not using my questions, so full sentences, please.
That's fine.
As soon as. Anytime. Anytime? So first, if you would tell me your name and what you do.
My name is Tom Kordick, and I am an 8th grade history teacher at Davidson Middle School.
And so tell me what your relationship is. Who are these kids and what's your relationship to them?
Oh, probably over half of them are in my 8th grade history class. So they're my students. I've known some of them for 1 or 2 years. Some of them I just met at the beginning of the school year in August. But I've seen the progression of them mature over the last almost over a year and a half now, almost 3/4 of a year. And they're great kids.
So tell me a little bit about, this particular group of kids. I've heard Juan Carlos rap about them, but what's your sense of them? What was your sense of them at the beginning of the school year? What's your sense now? Is there any evolution?
Well, the beginning of the year, you always try and find out a little bit about your students from the previous teachers, and a lot of the time you had, you hear like, oh, he's, talks back, they do this or that in class and stuff like that. So when I met the kids, I instantly connected with them. I really make an effort to connect with the kids myself. And so these kids in particular, the ones here in the E3 program, I know that they were selected maybe because of discipline issues or whatever it is. But for me personally, I've had nothing but great stuff with them. Really, really good, successful participation in my class, involvement, productivity, all that. So I'm very, very, just to see them, what I've seen with my kids, and when I say my kids, the kids in E3 that I have, I've seen a huge transformation, maturity over, the last 3/4 of a year almost.
And what do you think that's coming from?
I think one of it is they're maturing, physically and mentally, and this is middle school is rough years for kids. But also I think that working with Miguel and with Juan Carlos, they're really, really learning about that it's okay to talk about themselves, to be vulnerable, to show that they're vulnerable, not keep up those walls, which is so important with kids, I think, to really, not really care what they think their friends are thinking, but to just care about themselves, to better themselves.
Great. So do you think there is, what do you think the connections are between after-school programs and what happens in school? Do you think there's value and it can help?
Oh, I totally do. And, I actually teach in an after-school program at Davidson 3 days a week, which is called the SNAP program, Safe Neighborhoods After-School Program. And so I see the kids that I have at SNAP, which are some of the kids there's a couple of the kids in E3 that are actually also in SNAP. They come after school for a couple hours and do homework, and then we kind of have fun time, do a little exercise, a little basketball, whatever it is. So the kids, what I see is I think after-school programs are so, so enriching for the kids. It gives them, instead of going home to an empty house or going home to maybe a neighborhood they don't really, you probably wouldn't want your kids out and about in the afternoon. They're getting opportunities to do their homework, to do any enrichment stuff. We have, in my after-school program, we spend 45 minutes after all the homework's done. We either watch a movie or something funny, or we do something like that, just to break it up. And I just feel like for the teachers, they get a better connection too with those kids, because they see you get to take off the teacher face and just be the after-school, your after-school program leader.
That's why they like you so much.
Yeah.
So What did you think of what you saw tonight?
I thought it was great. I mean, just those little bit of opening themselves, cracking the walls open and letting people in is huge. And to hear the stories I heard about, drugs, alcohol, fractured families, all the stuff that goes on, and to see for them to be talking about that, that's huge. I mean, that's their lives, and that's what they have to live, and for them to share it with people is really, really real special. I mean, I honestly feel, that they're inviting me. They're letting me into their lives, which for a teacher is powerful.
So, who invited you tonight? How did that work out?
Catherine invited me, and David invited me, and they're both two of my students, and I'm honored that they invited me, that they wanted to share this with me.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm glad you came.
Thanks.
Me ha gustado mucho la manera en cómo están expresándose, porque es un punto de vista de que al escucharla lo que estaba hablando y todo eso, con ayuda de este programa están sacando afuera lo que ellos sienten en su interior. Entonces, me gusta mucho todo lo que están trabajando, les está ayudando mucho.
We're just focusing on tonight, basically.
Okay.
What were your expectations for tonight, and how did it go?
I'm sorry, I've got to change.
I don't know how to explain to folks what they were like 6-7 months ago.